When the Orlando Magic took Michigan wing Jett Howard with the 11th overall pick, it was met with criticism. Howard was viewed by most to be a guy that goes in the 15 to the 20s, but honestly I love this pick for Orlando, mainly because I am higher on Jett Howard than most. I thought he was one of the 10 best players in the draft, and honestly, I would have loved the pick if he went number 6 overall to Orlando. In my opinion, he's the best rookie on the Magic going into the season, and also the one that brings the most immediate impact due to his skill set. On top of that, I also think he has more upside than people give him credit for, which is what I want to talk about in this video. But quickly, before we go any further, if you're new and like basketball, I would really appreciate if you would like, subscribe, and hit notification bell to be notified whenever I release a video. I make videos about basketball all the time, and liking and subscribing are the two best ways you can help me out in the YouTube algorithm and help me reach my goal of 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Let's try and get 100 likes on this video so YouTube will recommend it to others. Anyways, let's talk about Jett Howard. Jett Howard is a 6'8", 215-pound wing, and he has the baseline skill set that makes him one of the most lineup and role versatile rookies entering the NBA. He's a legit high-level shooter, one of the best shooters in a draft that was full of incredible shooting prospects, which makes him playable right away, and also allows him to fit next to Paolo and Franz. I wouldn't be shocked if Jett is the day one starting 2 guard. He can play off the ball, he's comfortable off movement and in spot-ups, he has a quick fluid release, he has range, he's comfortable shooting with a hand in his face. It doesn't have to be perfect for him to get off good looks. He can run off pin downs, he can shoot off DHOs, he can be a corner threat off Franz and Paolo driving kicks. He will be a floor spacing threat as an off-man in PNR situations. His ability to shoot the basketball fits really well with this Magic team right now, especially considering the Magic need shooting. Franz Wagner is a really good shooter. He was probably their best shooter, especially after they moved on from Terrence Ross. Cole Anthony is also a good shooter in my opinion, and a better player than given credit for overall. But while Paolo Banchero has potential as a overall player, I think he's going to be All-NBA borderline superstar good. He wasn't a good shooter this past season. I like what he showed as a mid-range shooter. I love his confidence and volume, so there are good indicators there. But he's always going to be more of a shot creator, I think, as a three-point shooter in particular. He's probably going to be average to slightly above average at the best. Fultz is a good mid-range shooter. He's actually come a long way as a shooter since that first injury after he entered the league, but he's not a good three-point shooter. Wendell is a solid shooter, but he's not necessarily somebody that is a high-volume three-point shooter. Suggs is a work in progress as a shooter. I don't know how much longer Jalen Suggs is going to be on the team anyways. Anthony Black is somebody I like a lot. I think he has potential. He is a work in progress as a shooter. So, Jett probably is going to be the best pure three-point shooter on the team right away. And I think because the Magic need a three-point shooter badly, Jett Howard's a really good one. I think it will lead to him getting immediate play time, and I do think it's a real possibility that he starts at the gate. Now, while what Jett brings as a shooter gives him a high floor and a path to real minutes at the gate, he has much more upside than just being a shooter. He has a legit handle. He's shifty and creative. He has instinctual counters and is somebody that can improvise. He creates separation well. He's comfortable taking shots at tough angles and against contests. He's really good at getting to his spots. He's a natural pull-up shooter. He can take shots off the dribble. He has unreal shot versatility, and this gives him legit on-ball scoring ability out the gate in my opinion, which is why I was higher on him than other shooters in this draft. I think there are other guys in this draft that were better pure shooters, but the creation upside with Jett is what separated him from guys that maybe were better pure spot up guys. He's also a good passer. I wouldn't say he has primary creation upside, but he has good vision, he makes good reads, he brings value as a connector, and I think making the extra pass, being a secondary creator, those are things that Jett can do, which could be valuable as it will allow guys like Paulo and Franz to play off the ball more and take some pressure off of them. But it's also the fact that he has on-off ball versatility, which makes him lineup and roll versatile. He can be a spot-up shooter, off-ball scorer, and somebody that spaces the floor next to Paulo and Franz. He can also play on the ball to take pressure off those two. He can play on the ball with second units. He can play off of Anthony Black and Markelle Fultz. He can play off of Wendell Carter. He just fits with any team, not just the Orlando Magic, which is why I was so high on him and viewed him as a top 10 player in the draft. You know what the floor is. You know what he can bring to the table at the very least, and he has upside to be more than just a floor spacer. Now, he's not perfect by any means. He's not a good rebounder. You would hope he would be a better rebounder for a guy at 6'8". He's not a good defender. Although I do think that it's not an effort problem per se, and I think he can become competent if he continues to work and improve on that end of the floor. I don't think that it's necessarily he isn't smart on defense or the fact that he doesn't try on defense, but he does have some limitations on that end of the floor. He's not the most explosive athlete. He's not necessarily the quickest athlete either. Very craft-based creator, which works for him. I think it will translate to the NBA because he's 6'8" and likely will be a 2 guard. However, his lack of explosiveness does limit him as a finisher and self-creator in half-court situations in terms of attacking the basket. These are things that make me hesitant to say that he has this all-NBA, all-star type of ceiling, and it's why he wasn't in that Brandon Miller, Thompson Twins, Jarris Walker, Cam Whitmore tier. He doesn't have those unteachable athletic traits or have necessarily the defensive upside that those guys have, and I'm a bit lower on his ceiling than those guys because of it. But I don't think that his flaws as a player are swing factors for him being good or not in the NBA, because his strengths are NBA caliber and give him not only a high floor but also a high ceiling. And maybe it's not as high as those guys, but it still is a high ceiling in my opinion. That is something that you would feel comfortable with taking 11th overall. And also somebody that could be one of the better players in the draft. I think Jett Howard has a high ceiling. At his best, I think he could be in that tier of guys that we talk about as some of the best three-point shooting wings in the league. Guys like Desmond Bane, Devin Vassell, Trey Murphy III, Keegan Murray, Cameron Johnson. It's no guarantee, but when you look at his skill set, that borderline all-star kind of player doesn't feel like an unrealistic outcome. He has the frame that allows him to play both the 2 and the 3. He has a legit NBA level skill set as a shooter that gives him immediate value. He has the handle, creation upside, and connecting playmaking tools to expand his game. I think Jett Howard will be one of the 10 best rookies in the NBA this season. I think he will be the best rookie on the Magic. My rookie projections for Jett Howard are 11.7 points per game, 2.8 rebounds per game, 2.3 assists per game on 42.7, 39.3, 80.7 splits. I think he will be a starter just because of his floor spacing value and the fact that the Magic need floor spacers. And I think he could get good looks off creators like Fultz, Paulo, and Franz. I think he's going to have a rookie season that is what I kind of projected Moses Moody and AJ Griffin to have. maybe not completely numbers-wise, but I think the numbers are similar to what Moses Moody and AJ Griffin would have put up as rookies had they gotten full-time starter minutes. And I do think that Jett could be one of the best 3-point rookies we've seen in recent memory. I think if we're talking this season, he does have competition for the best 3-point shooting rookie. Jett Howard, Jordan Hawkins, Grady Dick, just to name a few. But I do think he's going to be up there. And I think he could be all rookie good. In terms of potential peak projections, I think at his best, he could put up like 20.8 points per game, 4.3 rebounds per game, 3.8 assists per game, 46.3, 42.6, 88.1 splits. I think he has potential to be one of the best and most versatile shooters in the NBA, similar to a Desmond Bane, a legit secondary option, likely a third option at his absolute peak on a contender. Maybe a fourth starter is more realistic to believe, but I do think at the absolute best, he could be that third option. A fringe all-star that maybe could make it, depending on how good a team he's on is. But I would be shocked if he did make all-star teams, just because of how many great wings we have in the NBA, and guys entering the NBA that I think have higher ceilings. But I do see a world where he could make maybe an all-star team in a similar situation to like Jeff Teague. I think that's a possibility. I think he can be a floor spacer that handles on-ball reps and plays multiple roles. The absolute best possible outcome for me with him, as of right now, is a Chris Middleton level player. And I don't say that lightly. I think that he could be that good. But I think, not saying they're the same player necessarily, I think they can be similar levels of shooter, because I think that both these guys are great shooters. But I think Jett is a better passer than this player and a better on-ball creator than this player with a better handle. But I think realistically, like, we could be talking about Michael Porter Jr. caliber. I'm not saying it's a one-to-one thing. I'm not saying it's like, oh, he'll be Michael Porter Jr. with a handle. Michael Porter Jr. with a handle will be a lot better than Michael Porter Jr. right now. And Michael Porter Jr. is a great player. But I could see like that similar caliber player, but with a different role, per se. Regardless, he's going to have a role in the NBA because he's a floor spacing wing. Those guys will always find a spot in the league. And I think it's because of that he has one of the higher floors. And it's why, again, I was so high on him, because he has this high floor, but he also has a pretty high ceiling. Jett Howard is a player I don't understand why people weren't higher on. He's a wing with an NBA frame. He's young. He was a one-and-done player. He can shoot the lights out of the gym. Has a legit handle. Has legit creation intangibles. He's a good passer. Has on-off ball versatility. One of the most versatile shooters from this draft class. He has a floor that makes him a safe pick. And also a ceiling worth taking a swing on the lottery, which the Magic did. I'm not saying Jett Howard was a steal, per se. Because while I had him as a top 10 player in the draft, he was my number 9 player. It's not like I think he was this top 3 value that went at pick 11. But at the same time, I do think some people are going to regret calling it a bad pick or saying it was a reach. Because Jett Howard was more than worthy of going 11th overall. In fact, when the lottery happened, I kind of felt bad for the Pistons, because they fell from the number 1 odds, so they lost Victor already, to the number 5 odds, which was a weird spot for them to be in, because there were 2 players that I had lottery grades on that I really liked for Detroit. It was Brandon Miller and Jett Howard. At pick 5, they weren't going to get Brandon Miller. Miller went number 2 overall, and he wasn't going to make it to pick 5. He wouldn't have fallen past 3 or 4. 4 at the most, but likely 3. And 5 was probably a bit high for Jett Howard. He was a tier below Asari Thompson for me. I think Asari was the right pick. But it's just funny that they landed in a spot where it was too low, to get Brandon Miller, but it was also too high to probably take Jett Howard. I wouldn't have hated the swing, but it is funny that it ended up that way. But regardless, Jett Howard's going to be great for the Magic. I would have taken him at like 8 or 9 maybe. It's not like a big steal in my opinion that he won 11. I think he has a chance to prove a lot of people wrong this season. But that's the end of this video. If you made it to this point, thank you so much. Again, haven't already, like, subscribe, hit notification bell, I'm notified whenever I release a video. I make videos about basketball all the time, and liking and subscribing are the 2 best ways can help me out in the YouTube algorithm and help me reach my goal of 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Let's try and get 100 likes on this video so YouTube will recommend it to others. And I want you guys to let me know. How good do you think Jett Howard will be? Do you think he was the right pick at 11? Do you think he should have gone higher? Do you think he should have gone lower? How good do you think he'll be as a rookie? Love you all down in the comment section below. But with that being said, have a nice day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.